Hello, hello, to the world. Shaba here. Welcome to another episode of Shaba Speaks. Actually, we are about to change the name of the show, but I am going to go with Shaba Speaks on health, wealth, and relationship to inspire, empower, and connect citizens of the world. So today I have a very special guest, my dear friend Emanuel, who actually agreed to grace me with his time and his expertise and to talk about his life, his journey, and how he became a not tech founder. Emmanuel, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm super excited to be here.
Yeah, super excited to have you. And thank you so much for making the time. I know everybody's just so busy with all that's going on in our lives. And definitely for you, you and I met through the 10X incubator as we become co founder with Jeremy
Yeah.
and Cardone. So tell me, before we start talking about your journey as a non-tech founder, tell me a little bit about yourself.
Well, my journey actually started when I was 15 years old. Right. I'm there just winning a chess tournament in school, and I go home to tell my dad because my dad taught me how to play chess. I'm going home. I'm trying to tell my dad, and then he's not home. My dad's not home. I'm like, okay, I guess I'll go to sleep, and I'll tell him the next day. Then the next day comes. I wake up. I'm excited. Dad, I won. I won. He's not home. I'm like, okay, then that's weird. And my mom calls me. My mom calls me. She's like, Emmanuel, and your brother come to the hospital now, please. And we go to the hospital. And now we come to the hospital, and then I see. I'm like, okay, so I guess my dad was in the hospital. He was he had cancer, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna really surprise him here. I'm going in all excited, and my mom there's bawling out, crying. And that's when I realized my dad's not coming home.
Wow.
That's when I realized I'm not going to tell my dad that I just crushed the school chess championship. So, and I realized right there and then how exactly short life is, how people live in so much fear, how I was living in fear. And that's where my journey started, to make sure that the entire planet doesn't go through living and reacting out of fear.
And that's why you have the whole conquer fear as opposed to
Yeah.
dominate your fear. So what's the difference? And I know you and I had conversations about not overcoming fear, not dominating fear, it's conquering fear. Can you tell us a little bit about what is really the difference from target?
Yes. So the thing with dominate, it's cool. I like that word, but I just prefer conquer. Right? Yes, I'm all for dominating. All for domination. Conquering is the same thing. It's just personal. The way I say conquering is because I truly believe we as human beings were born to conquer. You look at the past, right? We all the greats, they conquered land. They conquered every single aspect. We got Elon Musk conquering the billionaire game right now, right?
Yeah.
So we got Grant Cardone conquering the GC game, the real estate game, and it's just is we're born to conquer. Now we are taught as a society, we've been taught how to overcome fear. Now the problem is when you overcome any problem, the problem will then come back.
Mm,
Think
okay.
of it this way. What you're doing when you're overcoming fear, you're actually just scraping off the tip of the iceberg. But the actual iceberg itself is still there, right? The tip of the problem has nothing to do with what's actually happening. So, in order for you to conquer fears, you have to understand. Okay, first of all, yes, you're scared. Then, what is the core fear? What is the single smallest thing that's expanded into this huge fear? And then you use that as an opportunity to find out when you realize that the core is so small, you then know how to conquer it, right? So go on. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I have a question. So I am afraid of spiders and
Yeah.
snakes. And yesterday I was having a conversation with a friend of mine who actually lives on a farm. And
Yeah.
she said that, oh, the way you conquer or overcome your fear, and unfortunately, the general public doesn't really make a distinction between overcoming. And I was probably guilty of it until I met you and you started really talking about more conquering than overcoming.
Yeah.
And now I'm literally intentional about when I say overcoming fear. I'm like, no, wait a minute. I need to say conquering or dominating fear. So how would you approach in helping somebody like me who has a fear of living things, snakes, and everybody has a different type of fear. Fear is the biggest illusion, but mine is rather real because I'm afraid of something that is living, that exists out in nature. So that's why you will never find me go out at night, like not even sitting on my porch if there is no screen. I just don't do it. So how do you help somebody living in this type of fear of any other fear to break through it and conquer it?
So here's the thing. People that say that fear is not real, that fear is an illusion, they have no idea what they're talking about. They're giving out bad advice. It's like saying fear means face everything and rise, or forget everything and run. That's not at all what fear means, right? Let's dissect fear to understand. First of all, what you're going through is like arachnophobia or something like that. Those are a bit different, right? Phobias and fears are a little bit different. But let's dissect what fear actually is. I guarantee you it's not face everything and run. Face everything and rise or any of that nonsense. Fear is an emotion caused by the belief that something bad or negative is about to happen to you.
I agree.
Think about that again. It's an emotion caused by the belief that something bad or negative is about to happen to you. What do you think is the key word here?
Belief.
Exactly. Now, what's happening, you start believing something, and then that belief becomes a reality and turns into emotion. So it's like a fake emotion, right? So let's say, for example, people say, oh, I'm afraid of spiders, I'm afraid of snakes. You're not. That's the tip of the iceberg, as I was talking about. It's the very tip. You think you're afraid of spiders. You're not. What is it really that you're afraid of? The unknown, because you don't know if they're going to bite you, how will it hurt, or if it's poisonous, or if the snake is friendly, or will it eat you? Or if the spider's going to go down your shirt and bite you where it really hurts, you don't know. And I think, I truly believe that that's what people don't understand. They see a spider, they freak out, right? Let's go back in time. I was, I think, 8 years old. I go to a cottage. I love it there, right? I wake up, my face is full of spider web with a spider this big crawling on my face.
Yeah, well.
I freak. I absolutely freak. And going back to that experience, for sure, I was thinking, okay, I'm never going to be around spiders again. I don't like spiders, And when I realized is when I was in Zanzibar. Okay, when I was in Zanzibar, there was like big spiders, right? And I got a case of water. I carry the water. I put down. I open the water. Inside was this big brown spider. Now I don't know what it was. I don't know if it's going to jump and spit at me, and if it's venomous, right? So it's not really the fear of spiders, is what is it going to do and how will it affect you? If you think about it, if you know a spider will not hurt you, it can't do anything to you, it will not crawl under you or inside or whatever, it's not going to crawl into your ear and eat your brains, I guarantee you'll be able to hold it.
So maybe spider and snakes is not a good example, because I think for me, it's even the look of them. Meaning when I watch them on TV, I get like that little feel, right?
Yeah.
Let's take something a little more common to humanity, to humankind, right? In terms of being afraid. And there is actually a say that I like a lot, that goes like this: everything you want in life is on the other side of fear.
Yep.
Fear is the number one obstacle, setback that prevent people from really achieving success and really taking a chance and a risk and going out there and experimenting and living life to its fullest. And I think this is a more worthwhile fear, I would say, talking about, and your advice on how to conquer this type of fear by pushing and allowing and helping and empowering people to really give themselves a life to create success and just live life to the fullest and be happy. Why not be happy, right? So what's
Exactly.
this category of fear?
That's the thing. You see, people think fear is so completely different than what it actually is, right? There's only three big parts that fear, like the roots of all fears. All right. Now, if you're watching this, I highly encourage you to write this down because it's going to change your life. And I talk about then the 4 keys to conquering fear blueprint, right? So we have the fear of judgment. People are petrified of being judged to the point where they start actually living their life to other people's expectations,
Yeah.
going out to bars or and starting to drink or being I guess a brown noser, and they kill themselves, not physically, but mentally and later on physically,
Yeah.
right?
Mhm.
Because if your mental health is not on point, you cannot be physically healthy as well, right? And I'm going to get into that. So then after the fear of judgment, there is self-sabotage. So let's say, okay, you're afraid of of what a person's going to say, so you don't start a business. You just sabotage a huge part of your life that could have changed the world, right? You are responsible. If you have an idea that will change the world, you are responsible. It is your obligation to make it happen because, yes, there are other people like you with similar ideas, but they're not your ideas. And so you actually have to really understand you got to make that step forward. And to do that comes the third root of all fears, the third trigger, which is the lack of self-belief, or you can say the fear of not being good enough.
Good enough.
Which
Yeah.
so people lack self-belief because they listen to other people's judgment. Let's say someone says, "Hey, you're not good. You're not good. You're not good. You suck at this. You're bad at that. Shouldn't do this." It all piles up once, twice, okay, 3 times. You're pushing it because slowly but surely you're going to start believing that. You're going to believe that you don't look good. You're going to believe that you are the worst human being possible. And then you're going to start playing the victim card,
Yeah.
right? And you can't do anything because victims, they're not people that take a step forward. They're plain victims. They'll find excuses for something else. And that is what the whole huge thing of fear. Of course, I highly encourage people to get into the right mindset. And that's why when people say, oh, just go face your fears or go through it, I think it's absolutely ridiculous because you don't know what you're getting yourself into. You're going to overcome fear. The fear is going to come back stronger, right? If you do not conquer the root cause of your fear, the fear will grow in the back of your mind, and the subconscious mind is going to constantly grow, grow, and grow. And then what happens when you don't conquer it is going to turn into stress. You're going to start stressing out more. Guess what happens? You're attracting more negativity, right? When you're attracting more negativity, more fear comes in.
Yeah.
And with more fear, more negativity, then hits anxiety, then panic attacks. And we all know it's scientifically proven that anxiety is one of the main causes for depression. So I'm not a doctor. I'm speaking from personal experience and the experience of my students and everyone that I've helped.
Courage is not the absence of fear.
Sorry,
Right?
say that again.
Courage
Yeah,
is the absence of fear. You can still have some fear,
yeah,
but you conquer the fear with courage. And I also like the idea of faith versus fear. Like
mhm,
whenever you build faith, you reduce fear. Whenever you build up confidence, you reduce fear. So there are
absolutely.
other ways or many ways to really look into, because like you say, it's an emotion. You start with that emotion. And if you know how to conquer the emotion, you
Yeah,
can definitely so I have somebody here who says something like, put in your hand in fire will burn you. So you start, you know, I don't know if it's fear, but like just becoming more cautious. And then we need a daily routine to keep us positive all day and face the negativity. So which
absolutely.
brings to my question, Emmanuel, how do you build this mindset of yours to conquer your fear? And what is like the scariest thing, like the daring, freaking scariest thing you have ever done? And how did you go through that process?
The scariest thing I've ever done,
Yeah. The thing that you,
mentally or physically.
doesn't matter, something that really gave you that, oh gosh,
Yeah.
I'm gonna give you an example. Not long ago I spoke in front of 400 people maybe at Elevate Daytona, and the fear was there. because I haven't done anything in public for a long time, definitely nothing on stage in a while. So there was the moment of fear. But then I
Yeah.
started joking. I started just like joking about it, even with
Yeah.
myself, and preparing and breathing and really locking my mind in a certain routine that moved me from fear to excited.
Yeah. So I want to, I guess, say a few things before I get into that. I love the questions, by the way. Now, you mentioned courage is the absence of fear. There's one thing you got to be you have to make sure to understand that fear will always be there, but you need courage to conquer fears, right?
Oh,
Courage
I
is
said
the result.
courage is
Yeah, it's
not
not.
is not
No,
the
it's yeah, it's not
yes,
the absence of fear because
yeah,
you
that's right.
courage is a fearless mindset with fearless actions. You'll be able to do courageous. You'll get courageous results, which is
Right.
conquering fear. Now, as for the morning routine to get me all positive, I do talk about that. Like I said, the 4 keys to conquering fears blueprint is out there, but it's the fearless mindset exercise. So essentially, every morning. I'm talking about every morning. People that say morning routines don't work, I agree with you. This is not a routine. This is a lifestyle that I chose. Every morning when I wake up, I focus on everything that makes me laugh, on all of my achievements that I've done, and everything that I love about myself. Before I even say good morning to my wife, I focus on that. So I wake up with a smile, and then I can say in Portuguese, "Bom dia, meu anjo," means good morning, my angel. You know,
Oh,
and and imagine, like, think about it this way, Shaba. Let's say, for example, you wake up and someone tells you, "Good morning," or "Good morning." You see, there's a big difference when you wake up. So what you're doing, you're not just putting in positivity into your life. You're also spreading the positivity to someone else's life, making it better for them, which ultimately makes it better for you.
yeah.
So that is how every single day starts. It's not a routine. It is a lifestyle. And it's all in the fearless mindset exercise. So you got to know everything you love about yourself, everything that you've accomplished, your favorite accomplishments, and also everything that makes you laugh. And these are absolutely crucial. You cannot go and expect to have an epic day without having these three. I can get cut off in the middle of the street. Maybe I'll get upset for 1 second, and that's it. I'm not negative. I don't have that negativity in me anymore. So that's how and again, positivity attracts positivity, right? Fear does not come into positive spaces. It comes into negative spaces. So, and going to your question, the scariest thing I've ever done, uh, probably physically, I went on top of the very peak of the castle in Croatia, in Trogir. It's a little island. There was a castle up there, and I was able to climb up the very, very top. And my wife took a photo of me over there, and I was like, it was the most thrilling thing because I used to be deathly afraid of heights.
Me too.
So
Yeah.
so when you do that and you feel that air going in, it's it's amazing. Now mentally it's a bit different. The scariest thing I've done was propose. That
Oh
was
my
back in January. Oh my goodness, I cannot believe that I felt like I was going to pee myself. Like I didn't know how to do it. It was, and when I did it, it's like, okay, is she going to say yes or no? It's like, I'm so certain. But then when the time comes, you're like, is she going to say yes? Is she going to say no? I have no idea.
yeah.
So while I was freaking out over proposing, I reminded myself, right, the fearless mindset exercise, especially in relationships. If you're in relationships, this is a relationship saver. I guarantee it. What are the best things that you love about yourselves as in a relationship? What are the best accomplishments in the relationship, and what makes you laugh in the relationships? So you make someone laugh, get them to ease them down. Then you talk about the great things that you've accomplished together. Say how much you love the person. Boom, get down on the knee and propose.
So we should probably put like relationship advice in this.
Yeah, like I mean, I have so many people asking for, hey, my relationship is failing, and I'm like saying that's not failing. Relationships do not fail. One
Yeah.
person just gives up. Now, who's the person? Is it yourself or is it your partner? That's the difference.
So you talk about laughing, which I am a big on laughing. I do a lot of stand-up comedy. I watch all the comedy shows, movies, etc. How do you laugh?
How do I laugh?
Yeah,
With love.
what's your source? Where do you charge that? Because it's like you have a source that it's like electricity or anything. You have a source. For me, anytime I am feeling a little bit down, I literally just watch a stand-up comedy. I have my favorites either in the States. I have some from the Middle East that I watch, or comedy movies, late shows, for instance. I watch them the next day on whatever I catch up, and that is what really recharges my battery, like that
Yeah,
moment of laughter. So what is your thing?
life.
Life.
There's so many things that can make you laugh. You go on Facebook, and there are people putting on memes, anything. Like, the problem is not that there is a lack of comedy. The problem is that people don't know where to look. They look for inside themselves. It's like so many people, I hear this so often. Look inside yourself and you'll find answers. And I think that's absolute nonsense. You can't look at, if you're feeling down and you look inside yourself, you're going to
Yeah,
find nothing but negativity.
yeah,
Nothing but, what a rainy day, what a cloudy day.
yeah,
I
absolutely.
look at it, if it's a cloudy day, I'm like, oh my God, well, how long is this going to be? You
So
know, like, yeah,
I have
go on.
here a question along the line of what we're talking about, because this is also a very important point that I want people to take a moment to think about it. And this guy, he says, what's going to be this daily routine to keep us positive, especially we talk about lifestyle, though we already answered, and he followed up on that. But this is a very important lifestyle choices we make to keep us positive, especially we're living in a world mixed with negative and positive energy. Can you give us examples? So, Emmanuel, your take, and then I'm going to share one. And the reason I want us both to give our take is because we live by this. It's the choices you make every day, to where you tune in, where you plug in, what you're listening to. Be selective. So that's probably my take. Emmanuel, what's yours?
You got to choose a reality. You create your own reality. I'm going to say that again. You create your own reality. You means you choose the people that are in your life. You choose the people that are in your life and you're around often, and you choose the people that are not there. Right? There's always the right people and the wrong people, and you got to separate yourself between. There's no such thing as positive and negative. I mean, sure, when it comes to people, everyone is positive to their own ways, right? For a person that you may think is a negative person, someone else may think they're the most positive person. So what does that mean? That means you two do not match together as people, right? You got to find the right people to build your empire, right? That's where the whole empire came from. So most people today, right? There's so many people. Most of the people are not happy. They're not happy for one reason: they're around the wrong crowd. They play victim card. They have fears. That's it. That's the only reason.
Totally agree with you. Totally, absolutely in agreement with you. And a lot of my audience, probably, like, sometimes they feel guilty to even leave like dissociate themselves from toxic people. And the idea is really, what do you want in life? Who do you want to learn from? You are, like Napoleon Hill says, the sum of the five people you're around. You have to be very careful to the energy you allow in your world. And sometimes it's okay to let people go. I mean, you can still love them, you can still appreciate them, but you don't have to absorb their thoughts if they're not helping you move forward. And that's why finding your tribe is important, and being in that like-minded tribe is super important. And like Emmanuel and I, we met through the 10X incubator. And every morning we meet as co-founders. And how cool are those calls, Emmanuel? How
They're
amazing
awesome.
is it?
They
Like,
pump you up, and you're in the right place.
yeah, with the right people, and you're sharing whatever thought comes in, and you have feedback, and you have a community that just tells you there is nothing you can't accomplish. How amazing is that? Maybe we're
That's
not going to accomplish everything we want, but at least we are moving and we are energized. Sorry, you wanted to say something.
no, I think that's everything you're saying is absolutely true. It's very energetic. You got to be around the right people, the right crowd, the right place is it's that's what where success comes from, right?
Absolutely.
You're
Yeah.
not going to find any success being around. Like, let's say you want to be Elon Musk, and you're hanging out with your friends at the bar
Yeah.
on a Wednesday or Friday, Saturday, doesn't matter, any day. Elon Musk doesn't go to bars. At least I don't think so.
No, in fact, I was reading or I was watching actually a documentary about him. I mean, the guy has even like a little room where he sleeps whenever he works on projects. He works like 60, 80 hours a week.
Yep,
And he doesn't even get out. And he doesn't even like to waste time on lunch and breakfast. He can skip. He would skip anything if that will give him the time he needs to. I'm not saying
absolutely.
yeah, I'm not saying do that, but what I'm saying is that, your level of commitment will get you the results you want. So if you don't like the results, your outcomes, you have to look at your level of commitment, and it starts with the people you bring into your life. So
Absolutely.
yeah, and you and I had already so many very constructive ideas and conversations about just like, you know, pushing each others to do better and build
Yep.
empires, right? So tell me about your more recent venture through which I met you, the non-tech founder, and how did that come about and what is your experience so far?
Well, it started from uh, personal experience, really. What happened was I knew I couldn't find the right person. Like, I was looking for a specific person to be with, someone who's going to lift me up, who's going to teach me a lot of things, who's going to be completely opposite than me. And I knew she was not in Toronto at all. I knew she was going to be in Miami. That's just something that I knew. And I knew she was going to be into going to business conferences, learning, and being very uh, business oriented. And I was told, hey, listen, Emmanuel, get real. Your person does not exist.
Ooh.
Luckily, this person is not my wife. So when everyone told me that this person doesn't exist, right? I decided, okay, I'm going to go out. I'm going to find the person, but it's very difficult, right? You can't just create a person and know exactly where to find them. So that was how my wife and I met, and then through Grant Cardone mentorship, my co-founder partner Cesar Munoz and we met through Grant Cardone's mentorship program. And we started talking because, yes, sure, there can be similar mentorship people. But let's say you go to GrowthCon, which is a business conference for over 20,000 people. The likelihood of you meeting the best possible person for yourself, very slim.
Yeah.
Probably not even 0.01%. Because like 1 in 20,000, really. If you're looking for that one specific person, I was thinking of how can we leverage that? What can we do so there will be more empires building? Like, I'm building an empire with my wife, and I'm building an empire with Caesar right now, and I'm going to be building an empire with everyone, right? So we're building empires. An empire is a solid community of the right people for each other. It's the top 1% of the 1% that's going to be perfect for you, and we plan on building at least 38 million empires.
So, Emmanuel, we're about done with time wise, and I feel like you and I can talk forever. And usually our conversations are really long lasting. We always have ideas to bounce back and forth.
Yep.
What is the two last questions that I would like to ask you? Is the first one is what is your moonshot?
My moonshot is along with Caesar, is to create 38 million. Sorry, what about? I think it was 38 million empires to help build 38 million empires. That's 1% of the world.
1% of the world.
Only 1%. We want the top 1% of the world, and we want to make sure they build empires because they're the doers. They're the ones that are going to do it. The 99 are going to watch.
Yeah, and then the last question for you is, what is your call to action? If you were to give an advice right now, right here, to somebody who's listening to you and maybe help change your life, what would that be?
Absolutely. Go to my website, www.thefprinciple.com. There you can get a fear analysis, which you'll learn how to identify your fears. You can also join the free Facebook community. If you're serious about conquering fears, you can also book a call with me. We'll talk about that. Or you can go ahead and get the 4 keys to conquering fear blueprints to learn how to get the fearless mindset exercise, how to conquer the fear of judgment, stop self-sabotage, and how to conquer the lack of self-belief. It is the ultimate source for you to conquer your fears.
And this is how you conquer fear as well.
Yep, from experience, from experience.
Emmanuel, thank you so much for being here on Shaba Speaks. Like I said, the name is going to change soon. So stay tuned with that. Again, citizens of the world, thank you. Our mission here is to inspire, empower, and connect you to create success and achieve financial freedom. Thank you, everybody, for watching.